Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hello, my friends. Throughout the known history, it has always been more difficult to connect with the light, to connect with the essence, than to just flow along with the common current of consciousness. That influence has always been there. It's like uphill work, and as soon as one lets go, it goes down. And right now, that influence is very strong. And it's all around the world, it's in everybody. So it's good to be aware of that. And when the tendency comes to pull us away, then consciously come back to the essence. The pull is there, and it's manifesting in little things. Like there comes the feeling, oh, why should I meditate? Why should I practice? No, not today, and then tomorrow, no, either. It's a tricky thing, not easily detectable, but the pull is there. It was always there, but right now it's even stronger. Many people who have been doing practices for years tell me they have more difficulties now. But if you are alert, then we can get through it. Then we can counteract it easily. If we are not alert, then it pulls us more and more in that direction and it becomes more difficult. So let's be alert and not get sidetracked. There is also an increasing tendency to be irritable, to get angry for little things. It's manifesting all around. It's manifesting in big style in all kinds of troubles in the world, but it's manifesting all around in little things in day-to-day life, how people behave with each other. That influence is continuously there, and it's there in everybody, and we can step a step back and not get sucked into it, not get involved into it. Sorry for the noise. Hope Sudha is going to calm them down. That is. It's good to be alert. It's good to remember the signs when it comes, when it pulls. We don't have to do a terrible job not to get involved, not to get sucked into. It's just we have to be alert, and as soon as it starts to pull, then now even more just have that presence of mind and say, no, I'm not going that direction. Even if that feeling comes, oh, why should I practice? It's no use, not getting anywhere. Why should I practice? too tired today. Why should I practice? I have other things to do. And not only during practice time. Practice helps, keeps the alertness, gives insight and makes it easier to be awake, to be alert. But then also the whole day long. In our daily life, in our interaction with people, in everything that we are doing, so easily comes that pull off of why getting in a gloomy mood, getting negative, getting irritable. But if we can see it, if we can resist, if we can redirect the attention towards the light, towards the essence, then that intensity that it is creating because of what is going on helps us also. It's also a great opportunity. It's not simply terrible, it's not simply troubles, it's also a great opportunity. And it's worth the trouble to make use of this opportunity. Even more, remind ourselves, be alert, be here, be now. Center in the presence, center in the now. Be consciously, be consciously conscious, be consciously alive. And then these pulls are easily detected. There it comes again. I'm not interested, I'm not going that direction. And as soon as we redirect the attention, then it just fades away. Here, now, intensely alert, but relaxed. Alert and relaxed. Alert and relaxed. But it's good to keep up a daily practice. If you have more enthusiasm and more time, we can increase. If you have less enthusiasm and less time, we can reduce, but don't give it up completely. This daily stepping out of the activities, this daily moment of not being busy is creating like a base, a strength, a current that is there with us then the whole day long and makes it easier to be alert and makes it easier to see when things come that want to completely pull us away. And even if we are getting caught up and pulled away, and then when we become aware, all it needs is to remind ourselves to come back home and relax. The daily practitioner has that advantage. That current is there along with all the other things that coming. It's there as a basic vibration that makes it much easier when we are in tense situation. Even if we forget, even if we get overwhelmed by the situation, when the memory comes, then we just connect and relax and are right there again. So both is good. Have some time every day where we are doing nothing else but in one way or another to connect with the essence as good as we can, but then also keep that alertness. Remind ourselves to reconnect and reconnect and reconnect whenever we become aware. The attention is just traveling everywhere else around, but missing that simple sense of presence that is at the base of every experience. Hariyo, Hariyo. Okay, my friends. Now I have been talking, so now I'm asking you, is there anyone who would like to come in and say something? I see
Hello,
Nelly.
Werner.
Hello, Nelly.
Hello, Werner. I have a question. Yesterday, I tried to explain my understanding about meditation, what is meditation, how I understand this, and I saw some misunderstanding in myself. As I understand, for me, meditation to be conscious, to be alert, to be here now, and I thought that these words are synonyms. But then I thought that, for example, there are small children or animals, they always here now, but I can't say that they are conscious. So I thought that there are equal words. To be conscious means to be here now. It seems to me that this is right, but to be here now, it seems to me doesn't mean to be conscious.
Oh, I see.
I want to talk about it and this difference between consciousness and being here now.
I mean, in a way, we can not be anywhere else but here and now. But our attention can totally wander off and missing that experience of here and now. Now, an animal is not reflectively conscious. It's not conscious of being conscious. They have their mind, they have their emotions, they have their thoughts, but it's still an instinctive way of being conscious in the present. But we can be conscious of being conscious in the present. We can consciously become aware, oh, my attention has wandered off, although you cannot be anywhere else but in the timelessness of the now. But our attention is that aspect of consciousness that focuses on something all the time and can wander away, be busy in the past, be busy in the future, be busy with worrying what is happening somewhere in the world and completely miss that sense of presence, that consciously being alive. So often I say, be consciously conscious. And then you can say that is being in the present. But you can be half asleep conscious, and then the attention is not necessarily the present, but just dreams away somewhere.
Yeah. And about consciousness, I see maybe there are some different kinds of consciousness. For example, if the person is a surgeon and does some operations, he should to be conscious, not to be mistake. Yes, so if someone drives a car, should be conscious. But it's not. But what about? But another kind of conscious during meditation, when we learn to conscious ourselves, to conscious in feelings, in breath or body sensations. So there are different kinds of conscious, and and which it's so one of them connected with meditation. Or how to explain this? What kind of consciousness is means meditation?
There's simply consciousness. There are no different kind of consciousnesses. But we have the possibility to be conscious and then focus or not focus. And of course, when a surgeon is busy, then he has to focus quite, but not the whole time he is totally focused. The surgeon is focused little moments and then they bubble away together and tell all kinds of stories during the operation. Before I came to India, for some time I was working in an operation theater. So they are not so strictly focused. And also when you drive a car, it's better that you are focused, but you don't have to be focused all the time. I mean, people tell stories and laugh and have great fun while driving, but you have to be focused enough that you are aware what's going on on the road. That is better. Whereas when you meditate, then we try to just drop all the other interests that come in the mind and come right straight to the essence. That you keep that one focus, that focus of being here now, whether you do it with a technique or not. Even if you focus on a technique in meditation, then that technique is to help you to be more focused on being consciously alive here now. Even if the practitioner is not thinking like that, but being totally concentrated on that meditation technique, then that helps them to really be in the present, and without having necessarily the idea, the concept of bringing the attention to the present. This will just happen when that concentration is there. For that, it doesn't matter how we are meditating, but what makes the difference is that somebody who has a job, who has to be very concentrated, has a certain amount of concentration, but then the attention wanders off all the time in between, goes round and round. So that concentration, when it's strong, is certainly also doing something to being more intense, that the life experience is more intense. But then hardly anybody keeps on being concentrated. They concentrate a moment and then the attention wanders off again, and then they chat with the others who work there. And when you meditate, then you try whatever chatting that comes in the mind, that you recognize it and you withdraw the attention from that and just bring the attention again back to that one aspect. You can come directly to being conscious here now, or you can do it with the help of a technique and concentrate on the technique that helps you automatically to bring the attention back to that timeless now.
Okay, thank you, Werner.
You're welcome. Hari Om. Hari Om. Is there anybody else who would like to say something?
Hello.
Hello, Andreas.
Can you connect what you just said to the term flow? Like there's this flow experience when you're completely into something, like when the surgeon isn't thinking about anything else, maybe the operation is very difficult and then he has to fully focus on that. And so there are no other things. Or when you're doing something like maybe someone's making music or painting, and they're completely immersed in that kind of doing.
Right.
Isn't that very similar then to meditation, or are there this in respect like that they're maybe not conscious of doing this consciously?
Yeah, right. But it comes close to meditation, definitely. If if a surgeon is really, be it the surgeon or anyone in his profession is very, very concentrated, then it's, even without having the idea of meditating, it comes very close to meditation, and that person will also have another intensity of the experience than somebody who is just half asleep doing the job. And the musician also, the musicians who play again and again the same thing may do it very mechanically, but the musician who really gets the heart into the music, then that definitely brings the attention to the present. I have a niece that is just finished professional training, musical training, and she told me that then really when she makes music, when she's fully into it, that's the time where she is really in the present. Other times she tries as good as she can, but then when she plays the music, then she is in the present. So it can be very helpful, especially if you do it consciously like this. If you are aware of that, then anything can be a meditation.
Even cleaning the room?
Even cleaning the room. Then the intensity may come when you have that feeling of, oh, I don't like it. And then you just disregard that me reaction and start to consciously do whatever you're doing. You take your broom and you're cleaning the floor and you do every movement consciously, suddenly it turns into a meditation.
Is the crucial part that you forget yourself in a way? That you're not like constantly referring and commenting on yourself?
You don't forget yourself, but you are not always focused on the personality that we believe so strongly that we are. And that's something the person is doing, always commenting, now you do this, and you did it bad, and this is good, and why the fellow yesterday said like this. Right, then you stop commenting. If you are really tuned, and what you can call it the flow, for in manifestation it's not stagnant, it's expressing itself, it's flowing from moment to moment. And if you are really in that flow, then you stop always commenting what is happening.
A lot of times I catch myself commenting in meditation, like that is like that I'm halfway noticing my breath, and another part of me is like, commenting on it.
Yeah, right. That the tendency is there, and then it may go and step further in that direction, and already imagining how am I going to explain it to my friends what I have experienced and stuff like that. Right. The habit is there, the tendency is there, but when you become aware that it's going on, then you just withdraw the interest in all that boring commentary that is going on, and just bring it back to simply being. And then as soon as you do so, then the mind has the tendency to say, oh, that was really well done. And there you go again.
But I still don't know what is like, how do you do it appropriately, just being, it's always like, I'm still experimenting with it, and it's still not that I can say, oh, I'm getting more a sense of it, but I'm still like working on it.
Right.
So yeah.
It's also very abstract for the mind. It's not something we can in any way grasp or understand. Just being. For that, it's helpful that we have a tool, that there is something that we are using to help that connection, to bring the attention back. A simple thing that we choose and then keep it as our golden tool to catch the attention and bring it back to that. And eventually you may drop the tool or you may still keep it, even if you are really in that simple beingness.
For me, that is breathing.
Yeah.
And it's like, so do you have to be, I mean, naturally it becomes much subtler and subtler that you notice the breath. But sometimes I think I should like keep it simple and not get too narrowly focused. Can you say something to that?
Yes. It depends also what you are doing. Like when you are engaged with people, when you are engaged with patients, then you have also to do a certain amount of mental work. You cannot get around of thinking something when you are talking. But then you can learn to be aware of the breath every moment that you can. Maybe for some time your attention is totally focused on that interaction, but if you have the habit of being aware of the breath, then you become more and more also aware of the subtle energy. And then even when you are talking and focusing on saying something intelligent, then you can more and more be aware of that subtle energy and relax in that even while active, there is that sense of balance and flow, and that you are in tune with it. When you are sitting quietly, then you use your tool, and then the tendency is that because when we do it for some time, then it becomes easy to do that, but then to start thinking about anything. But then when you become aware, it's easier to return, to redirect the attention on the tool that we are using, that you again bring the attention back to the breath and relax there, then trying to simply be abstractly. But then when you really consciously breathe and feel the energy and relax in it, then you can still be aware of the breath, you can still be aware of the energy and just be.
It's probably not possible to explain the difference between just be and being very completely or very well focused on the breath. Or are they even like separate things, or just they?
I mean, that being is always there. It's not that after enough practice, then we are attaining that. That being is always there. Simply we are overlooking it. And if we have our meditation, then the perception becomes subtler and we become slowly more and more aware that simple beingness. It's not ever absent. So it's not something that you can practice. It's there. What we can practice is catch the attention and direct it back to it.
I think I've read in Nisargadatta's book that it's even there when you're in deep sleep, right?
Right.
So, but you cannot become aware of it when you're in deep sleep, right?
Right. You may have sometimes maybe an experience that you're aware in deep sleep, and that awareness may come back more frequent, or it may not come. But you don't worry about that part. You just deal with your waking state. Go to sleep in that mode of meditative mode of just being here now and relax in that. And then when you wake up, as soon as you can, remember to just connect. For it's easy when we wake up and the mind is not yet so active to consciously connect, but it needs that impulse then again that we direct the attention in the right direction, but it's relatively easy when you wake up. So when you go to sleep like this and you wake up like this, then in between, whatever needs to happen, needs to be done, is happening all by itself.
Yeah, I have the impression that when I wake up, sometimes I have better moments than when I meditate.
Yeah.
Like, so, but it must be something very fundamental, right? If it's there in deep sleep, because for me it always feels like that I'm completely gone in deep sleep. Like, yeah.
Right, the mind is gone, the mental activity, well, it starts again when we start dreaming, but in deep sleep, there are no thoughts. And yet, when you wake up, you may not have a clear memory that you were there in deep sleep, and yet there is that sense, it felt so good. Some kind of memory is still there, active with you, that you can, that you are, that is clear that you were also there. But what is absent is the usual mental activity with which we identify so strong. And then it feels like I'm gone. And then when I come back again and start to think, and it started, the mill goes on again, then, I'm back. That me personality that is only there when we are creating it, that is absent in deep sleep. But you, the being, cannot possibly be absent.
Is this part of this rumbling around part of personality be gone for you? Is it gone for you?
It's there. As soon as we are active, we pick up that role. It's there, but you can see it as a role. It's there. Instead of identifying, then okay, there is a speck of identification there as long as one appears in that form, but it cannot bind anymore. It's like, as Ramana calls it, a burned rope that still has the form of a rope, but is not more capable of binding you.
Okay.
A speck will be there as long as you are appearing in that form, but it is not more capable of creating trouble because you are aware it's a role, that you are just picking up. A certain identification with the role is there in order to play the role, like an actor on stage has a certain identification with the role in order to play the role, but deep down is always aware, I'm not that role.
Would you become more easy about taking on different roles or different sides of personality, like expressing different emotions and parts of you more easily? You're not so tight anymore.
Sure, that you can for a moment with somebody be quite stern and then turn around and be happy and relaxed and laugh with somebody else.
Okay.
Instead of holding on to the mood and carrying on and bring it in a unpleasant way everywhere we are going.
So what's about expressing yourself? Because like in Zen, some teachers make it a point that you express yourself in a in a very basic personal way, without having an ego in it. So that's
whenever you are really consciously connected with that timelessness, with yourself, with that essence, then whatever you are doing is a genuine expression of yourself. If we identify with the role, with all the fears and desires that are attached to it, then the expression is often very much watered down. That sparkling beauty of creativity is very much reduced because of all the fears and desires and the little boxes that we are creating and how we should behave in order to be seen by the others in a good way and all that stuff. If you just leave it away and you just are naturally, and then whatever you're doing becomes a genuine expression.
it's very difficult to keep these two things apart, right? Because I think like in general, it has become very mixed up, like the term self-realization in German is Selbstverwirklichung, and this has taken on very strange moods, like that people have like special tattoos for their that express their self or so, and this seems kind of strange to me.
Yes, it's a bit crazy what people think is a true expression of their self, and a lot of it is also conditioned, that it's being hammered into them, be like this and be like that in order to be in and in order to be well seen, and actually it's not a genuine expression, but rather doing something in order to evoke responses from outside, that the others around say, oh, this is tremendous what he did. When they talk about this kind of expressing themselves, they are not talking about the self. They are trying to fabricate the personality that they are really, and then trying to express that personality, but that personality is a ghost. However much we try to put it together and hold it together and think that is me, it's only there when we are thinking about it. It's only there when we are creating it. And we can think about it and create it in just a tiny little way in order to function. But then it's practically not there. And you yourself shine through that. But we can be very, very obsessed with the personality and then have all this idea to express myself. But then it's just again making a theater, trying to get responses from outside, taking oneself as a person very important instead of putting the importance to that which makes the experience possible.
Is this like fabrication of the personality an unconscious process, or like I have the feeling that my personality is even there in a certain way, even if I don't have conscious thoughts about it. It's just like, yeah, after like 5 minutes waking up in the morning, it's there without me having it, especially without me having it consciously constructed. It's just like, yeah, the machine is working again.
Right, it's out of habit. It simply materializes itself without your conscious effort, but it's there because we have started to our continuous stream of thinking about something in our usual channels, which create that personality.
But there's no easy way out of that, right? Just being present with feelings, or just.
Basically, it's easy to get out of it. We just have to withdraw being interested in it and be here and let go. But the habit is so strong that it appears to be very difficult to do. But basically, it's the easiest to do. But the pull of the habit is so strong that it appears to be quite a job. Right.
So is it that maybe I'm sometimes a little bit successful and immediately the personality comes in again, and then, like, especially like in meditation, I feel like sometimes I'm present and immediately I comment on it, and then it takes a while, and then I have a present split of a second again, and then this is this going back and forth.
Anyhow, you are aware of it. It's going on. And then you are not strengthening the habit. And what you can do is whenever you become aware, oh, there I'm going again. No, just redirect the attention. Withdraw being interested in all the commentary. Stop being interested in the negative commentaries. We do lots and lots of that also. Scolding ourselves, not good enough, and why did you do like this? And also withdraw the interest in all the positive commentaries, praising ourselves, what a great fellow we are, and how well we did. Just being aware. It's not that we are, somehow the mind has that, we as a person have that conviction. If we don't do that, then our life becomes dry, that our life has a choose because of thinking all that, having all those thoughts, having all those emotions. Having emotions is nothing wrong, but if we detach from all that, it's not that we are losing something. It's not that life becomes then dead. In contrary, life becomes really alive, and that intensity and that beauty that is there waiting to be experienced and expressed comes much more to the surface. But somehow the fear is there. If we don't do our habitual thing, then it's becoming boring and dry and not worth to live, which is totally wrong. So we leave it at that for today.
Thank you, Werner.
You're welcome. Hari Om. Hari Om. Is there anyone else who would like to talk?
Hello, Werner.
Hello, Dial.
To continue question of Nelly about about definition of meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remind that Buddha was given 40 objects of meditation for different type of characters of the people.
Mm.
And some of this meditation, some of these subjects are advised for really can lead you until enlightenment, but some of these subjects can lead you only until upachara samadhi. It's quite high stage, but it's not very high. So, and then the person should change, shift to another meditation. For example, many meditations on different type of dead bodies, or meditation of compassion, loving kindness, or walking meditation. And this meditation is not leading to completely to enlightenment. It can give you some half of the path, and then you should go to another meditations. Can you comment about this?
Right. What you are talking about are different kind of meditation techniques. And when I use the word meditation, then I mean that which is the essence of all the meditations. And this is the essence of all the techniques, of all the spiritual practices, that it helps us to detach from our mental obsession and bring the attention back to the source. And there, all these different types of meditations the Buddha prescribed for people in different mental modes, they are just helps, they are crutches for the mind to do exactly that. The essence of that practice is that it helps you to reconnect consciously, not to be somewhere around all over the world, but to bring the attention to the present, to that essence, and learn to be in that. And then if we learn to relax in it, then the technique may continue, or they may simply disappear and you simply are. But then certain techniques, they may help you in a way that there is a certain limit to their usefulness. I can accept that, but still it may be the right thing for a person to pick up such a meditation because it comes easy, because it comes natural. And then at a certain point, maybe the technique is not more so attractive because there is the longing to go deeper, and a subtler type of tool is being chosen. But in both cases, whether it's not so subtle or subtle, the essence of it, the point of the practice is that somehow catching the attention and bring it back home.
Okay, understand what you mean. And another question. I was thinking about my life, and I remember it's about until I was 30 years old, I was very seriously about spirituality. I was searching my path. And on the first place was the path, the search. And I can give up the very convenient job or convenient life. For example, I get divorced. Then with a little money, I went to India and stay 1 year. So I was very passionate about to find the way. And then I don't remember what happening. I should remind it, but something happening, and I became more practical. It's meditation not on the first place, maybe practical things on the first place, and the meditation becomes second. I'm not sure what's happening. My idea, maybe I start practicing Vipassana and understand the path is really difficult and it's not give quick results. And if you really want to meditate, just go meditate 12 hours every day. And it's not easy. That's why maybe I stop. Or maybe I come across difficulties in the normal life. And I understand, yes, money and the flat or room, it's important. So I start to become more practical. So is it normal, or should I come back to that stage when I was younger to be really put meditation on the first place? What do you think about it?
I think you should meditation in the first place, but not that you go and sit on your bum the whole time, but meditating when also while you are active. Your life has naturally evolved like this, And if you had tried to continue forcing yourself doing just nothing else but meditation, then most probably it wouldn't have brought you much because it was not more happening natural. Before you were so enthusiastic, so it came naturally. And then it naturally, you wanted to be a bit more active again. And there is absolutely nothing wrong to have a balanced program of activities and practice. But you can learn to do that activity in such a way that it also becomes meditation.
Okay, Werner. Thank you. Thank you, Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om. I'm coming to that all the time. There are so many practices, there are so many techniques, and they are all fine. There's nothing wrong with them, but there's no one who you can pick out and say, this is the fantastic practice, this is the highest practice, this is better than other practices. People are different, the minds are different, and obviously, as Dale said, Buddha gave 14, I didn't know that, 14 different types of meditation out so that people can choose, not because they want to attain something different, doing a different meditation. What we are looking for is not something to be attained. You are that divine essence. Nothing can change that. And all the practices, they help us to turn the attention in that direction, that we become aware again, what we have forgotten. That we become aware that it has never been absent. So it's not through a particular meditation that we are attaining something, but the meditations, the techniques, they help us to be more conscious. And if we are more conscious, we become more aware of what we are doing in the mind, how we are preventing us from being natural. In the beginning, when I started the satsang, then I said that there is that influence that wants to prevent us from connecting. And that's exactly where it comes in. There is on one hand the habit, how we have been functioning, the whole conditioning, how we have been brought up, that is also continuously creating contradictions, creating tensions, creating something that makes us unnatural and uneasy. And right now there is a lot, great energy put into that to make it more difficult, because that from where it's coming from where that influence is coming from, that doesn't want people to be really alive and conscious and free, but wants to control and enslave them. So all these techniques, they are helpful to become more aware what's going on. We don't get around this, no matter what kind of technique we are practicing, no matter what kind of path we are following. The essence of it, the point of it, is that it helps us to be more conscious, more alert. It gives insight. And there we see what we are doing. We see how contradictory we are. We see how much of our thoughts, our emotions, our activities, how much of our energy is spent to rather keep the consciousness locked in that little bubble, that me, instead of using that energy to bring the attention back home and become aware how expansive the experience is and how it expands all the time. So practices are helpful. And now Dial said, then he had a time where he was practicing, and then got more involved again in activities. Then that must have been the most natural thing. For most of the people, it's much more advisable to have a balanced program of activities and then time to withdraw from the activities and be really introvert and then be active again and try to bring that attitude, that same meditative attitude as good as we can in our activities. So people will often talk like this, that what they are doing is really the fantastic practice. And try to tell that this is the best and the highest and the straightest and God knows what. If you have your way to go about it, and don't get irritated by that and don't get this securized. Don't lose your self-confidence and think maybe if I did that I would have faster progress or faster experience or something. I mean, if something is attractive, we can very well open up and see whether we want to embrace it or see whether we want to pick up aspects and integrate it in our own practice. Nothing wrong with that. But even if people come and say how fantastic is what they are doing and their practice is the best and you have quickly great results, if you feel that what you are doing is more an expression of yourself, is more in tune with yourself, then you can be sure for you at that moment your straightest and highest and best practice is what you are doing. For it's just the shell. The practice is just a crutch for the mind. For the mind to help us do that one simple thing. Not to get lost in our thoughts, in our imaginations. Bring the attention back to that which makes the experience possible. And learn to relax in that. And then there are practices that deal with energies. They may be very helpful to balance out the energies, for we create obstacles intellectually, emotionally, energetically. We create obstacles to bring the attention back to our natural state. And then we are not aware of it and go on and make them stronger. But then when we are becoming aware, then we can see what we are doing and learn not to do those things anymore that create troubles, that create tension, that makes us unnatural. And the practice is just a crutch to make it easier. We can do more energetic practices, more devotional practices, more jnana practices. Doesn't matter. If it helps us to bring the attention back to that source that makes the experience possible, then that is the best practice. There are so many meditations. I simply call them techniques. And what I call meditation is that conscious attempt, even if you are not successful, that conscious attempt to catch the attention and bring it back to that which makes the experience possible. That is what is meant for me, meditation. And all the practices help us that we can slowly learn to really meditate. But then they are being called meditations, and then that's a confusion. But there are so many different meditations. There are different techniques, and the essence of those techniques is the same. It should be the same. If it's not, then it's not really a spiritual practice. Okay, there I'm going again, talking. I'm asking you, my friends, is there anyone who would like to come in and say something?
Hello, Werner.
Hello, Ritis.
So I wanted to ask this question about those consciousness and attentions,
Yeah,
this topic. So in psychology, they came to these two types of attentions, where one is called automatic attention, when we are involved in driving a car or painting or doing something, and we completely are in that immersed. And another one is controlled attention, when we try to watch what we are doing or to fix things, and we need to invent different strategies what to do. For example, when we're driving a car, we don't think how to turn the wheel or to press the brake.
yeah.
So does it mean that when you say this, when we need to direct attention, so we mean that part which is our controlled attention that we're directing, right?
Yes,
And if we can direct that attention, so that means we are not this attention, which is
right.
direct. And so do we what I noticed, that if to turn this attention to the background, where the process of automatic attention and controlled attention is happening, does it mean that we are this background, and then attention turns, the consciousness of attention turns back on this background of consciousness, and that what you mean to come to yourself?
Right, you can say so. You told these two different types of attention. Who calls it like this? You said somebody called it like this.
Psychologists in psychology books, they are explaining about attention. One is automatic, another is controlled, or sometimes they call one is unconscious attention, another is conscious attention.
Right. And basically, the job is to make the attention conscious, even that which is unconscious.
But that means that we are using the mind as a tool, because
Yes.
if we notice objects, actions, or something with this controlled attention, so we're using the mind. But unless we direct it to the background or this emptiness where everything happens, that then it's just the game of the mind.
Right. But it's the mind is not just an evil thing that we should avoid at all costs. It's the same mind that is creating troubles that we are using to see that we are creating troubles, and helps us to get out of troubles. After all, the mind is not a thing. There is no such a thing as a mind. There is just that beautiful capacity to form consciousness into reasonable thoughts. It's a tool to express your inner beauty, but somehow something has gone wrong, in the sense that instead of it being a tool that can be pulled out when it's necessary and appropriate, and put away when it's not necessary, it has become so strong. Instead of a tool, it has become the boss that goes on and on and on compulsively. And then there is the problem. In the mind, we're creating that idea of being in bondage, of being limited, of being small, of being separate. And there we catching the attention on that level and using that same capacity to form consciousness into reasonable thought to bring the attention out of it. Then when you just are here, now, then you don't need the mind. But then there is not really any job to be done. There is just that openness and the experience start to expand and unfold spontaneously, effortlessly. But until you are capable of being in that just being state, here the mind is being involved. It's no point in saying, no, don't use the mind and don't do anything with the mind as long as there is something we have to work on, then the mind is involved. But we can use that mind intelligently, that it points in the right direction. But once you are here, then you cannot do anything anymore. You just are here, and there is that openness, that awareness that there is infinity. And the experience of that starts to unfold. But there is nothing to do directly there. The thing to do is only when we want to get out of troubles. And then we need to do something about it. We are creating the troubles with the mind. We're using the same mind to get out of troubles.
So that means that with this attention, when we catch ourselves that we drifted away in thoughts or doing something, we need to turn it back onto the background. And then if it's possible, but it's kind of subtle trick. It's not so obvious what's needed to done.
Yes, that's the trouble, huh?
Yeah, that's trouble.
Right. But somehow or other, that's why most of the people need a tool. It's a bit too abstract to just do it in such an abstract way. And that tool can be self-inquiry, the question asking, but who is experiencing? It can be holding on, being aware of the breath. It can be anything. Because it's sort of like that which is then right behind that.
Yeah.
Right. It's a matter of talking. It's always here. It's always now. But if we then use such a tool that is quietening the mind, that is loosening up that interest in going on and on and on and on about something, then that's why I'm keep on telling you, come back and you relax. Then you let also go the tool. You let also go the controlled attention. Then you just are.
Yeah,
And
the
then,
problem is, yeah, then the problem is this, where to come back, what is back, but if you direct this on the background as I now experience, then it's emptiness itself, how to say, and then it's, okay, it's clicks, but then if it's some drifting away and forgetting, and there is no object how to, where this back is.
right. That's the difficulty for the mind, that however much we try to understand it and define it and put it in a box, it's not possible.
Yeah, and it's not that. That means with this, like in Vedanta, is negation technique. You
Yeah.
need to use it. Not that, and that what remains. Basically.
Right, you can do that, but you can also, you need not go into that. If that helps you to detach and get closer, then that neti approach is helpful. But you can also just stay with I am.
Yeah.
stopping, I'm this, I'm that, I'm so many things, and then you just come back to that simple I am and relax in that.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. The trouble is, you say the trouble is we would like to clearly understand, and all we can get is sort of an intuition, a feeling, what it is, what we are looking for. But it's not possible that we can come to that point that we can say, now I can grasp it. So that's why it's not something concrete to hold on to for the mind. We cannot hold on to that essence. That's why it's for most of the people so helpful to hold on to something else, to a tool, to the question, who am I? To being with I am, to holding on to the breath, because there we can still hold on to, that helps us to detach from where we are involved. And the attention comes back, and from this being focused, really, here, now, all that needs to be done is let go, relax. And then it goes by itself.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Is there anybody else who would like to come in?
Hello.
Hello, Leela.
Not many, but quite a few of my friends are describing that I also feel that way, that as if due to the situation, it's only part of me that is functioning somehow, as if I've lost part of me. And I'm not sure, I can't describe what part, but when I felt it, and then I heard from other people that they feel the same way, that as I said, it's only part of me. Yeah, and part of me is somehow gone. Can you say anything about it? Does it sound familiar or something?
Due to the pressure of the situation, then one can feel like this, that actually that certain parts are also simply a bit pushed away. They are not really necessarily gone. But often to keep them alive and active is too uncomfortable for the mind. So then somehow there is a veil, but they are still there and they're waiting to put their head up and come out. You are that which is prior to all these parts. And then all this fragmented personality into different parts have been built up. But then when traumatic things are happening, sometimes certain aspects of that personality that has been built up are simply pushed aside because one doesn't want to deal with them. It's not necessarily that one has overcome them and let them go, but just somehow it's too much. And then one feels, oh, they are gone. They are not gone, they are just put to sleep, ready to wake up any moment.
Yeah, I feel for myself that it's not actually such a negative situation, but it feels a bit strange. And also, while you were talking, it gave me the image of living on a automatic mode.
Yes, yes.
And yet at the same time, many people are so kind and soft. So it doesn't make us being like closed or cold or not attentive.
Yeah, yeah.
But it feels weird. Even if I can see the advantage, it still feels weird. It's like if I was like that, or now I'm like sort of flat, like something like
Yeah. Anyhow, I wouldn't spend my energy trying to reactivate whatever parts you feel they are deactivated. They are not gone, but they are deactivated, and bring the attention back to that which makes your present experience possible. Even if it's the personality that you were familiar with has changed, feels kind of strange what is happening, then okay, but it's still the personality. So bring the attention back to that which makes the experience possible. And then even in not external strange situations like this, it may happen that you don't recognize yourself so well because it's strange what's going on, and you think, what the heck have I been holding on to, or have I been activating all the time, and then suddenly I deactivate, or something seems to be lost, or something seems to be not right, but it's simply not familiar. But that which is familiar is that sense of presence prior. Bring the attention back to that, and then it may go sometimes a bit upside down and a bit not so harmonious externally in the experience. But if you are in the center of it, in the silent center, it doesn't matter.
yeah.
When that strangeness becomes too much and one loses the center, then one becomes what one would call crazy. then then it's like a whirlpool, and one is on the periphery on it and is terribly overwhelmed by whatever is happening. But if you find that capacity that you come to the center, there is peace, however much it is turning around. And then it doesn't matter if the world and also one's own self, one's own personality is sometimes a bit unusual.
What was the last sentence? Those, yeah.
If you find that center, that peaceful center, then
Okay.
you can accept that things are going a bit crazy, and even one's own personality in course of the process may go through phases that are a bit unusual and sound unfamiliar. Then you think, so what? Instead of spending the energy to push it back in the familiar mode, bring the attention back to that which makes the experience possible, and see what happens.
Yeah, I know. I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
I have gone through a period like this, that really I thought it's all going down the drain.
You're
Yes.
talking about yourself? Yeah.
Yes, this fellow here.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
That although coming from the Vedantic side and spouting things like it's all a dream, it's all unreal, and then suddenly that reality, that familiar reality started to crumble. And my first reaction, instead of thinking, oh yes, great, and relax and come back to the center. And I desperately try to hold on to that reality I always denied of being real. But the unfamiliar was somehow too unbearable to simply accept, and then going to a period of struggling, and because the reality still crumbled down, and desperately I tried to hold on to, and everything went through the fingers, getting really in a crazy state until I understood, hey, come on, what are you doing? Let go and be. And don't have the idea that you have to understand what's going on. And then for the first time actually in my life, I was ready to accept, to admit to myself, I don't have a clue what's going on. I have no idea. Previously I knew everything. And then there was that admission. I have no idea what's going on, but I understand I just have to go through what's going on and be with myself. And then that whole struggle, desperate holding on to things went away. And then out of that, a new experience could emerge.
Yeah, you said something with what I wanted to react, but I forgot just when I interrupted something about yeah, I don't know. Never mind.
Maybe the next time.
No, it will fly with the wind. Oh yeah, I wanted to just mention this. What you've mentioned was very, very important actually. That you described. You wanted to understand.
Yes.
And this is what we are trying to do, to understand. And there are all these people who I'm sure they understand more than I do in their field, whatever it is, and they explain. And I do watch the programs when people talk and explain, and I know I'm doing it in order to understand. I understand nothing really, because it's so difficult. It's really, yeah. So, and it's hard to live. It's hard to live not understanding this event. It's very hard to not be able to understand what the hell is going on.
Yes, and you can be sure, even if you listen to the experts.
Yeah, to the experts. Yeah,
those they are broadcasting in the mainstream news, and then you are sure that it's better not to take them so serious. Because what is really going on is so much different than what is being brought in the propaganda machine, that what is going on in the news. So even if you can follow the arguments of somebody, doesn't mean that you really understand what's going on.
I understand less, but still I do it. It's okay. I have control over it. It doesn't,
But then also with oneself, then you said, then it's like a part is gone and it's weird. And then the tendency is that I want to understand what's going on. And then we can accept, okay, this is after all the role, the personality, and I'm prior to that. So come back to that center, that knob of the storm, that where there is peace. And then it can go stormy outside in the world or inside in the psyche, and whatever one has been holding on to and felt it gives some kind of security may disappear, but if you are in that peaceful center, it doesn't matter. Then you let it go, and then you don't try to reconstruct it or understand, but just are open, again, curious like a child. And out of that, an entirely different experience may start to emerge.
I understand very, very well. Yeah. Thank you, Werner. Hari Om.
You're welcome. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Okay, let's round up today's satsang like that. And it fits with what I have been talking in the beginning about all those influences that try to pull us in one direction. Actually, if I take the last picture I have used, that whirlpool and the silent center, all those forces that are so super active try to pull the attention away from that silent pool. But we can bring the attention back, for you are always here now. Here now, there is that peace. And if we find our security here now in that peaceful center, then we don't freak out when things seem to fall apart, when the whole world seems to fall apart, when our personal psyche seems to fall apart, because you're aware your security doesn't come from there. We have falsely created, constructed the sense of security in our mind, with our understandings, with this, with that, but it's an illusion. It can crumble anytime. Whereas that, which is, there is no crumbling away ever. You are that. Bring the attention back to that. And there is that beauty of existence. And there also those forces who try to pull the attention away, they lose their power. I wish you all well. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.